So I came across this image on my feed basically saying this young man spent $80,000 to undergo a surgery to become taller because they were dealing with rejection by women. This is an appropriate video for this channel because it speaks to your body and your mind. And what people tend to forget is you have to do the internal work. You cannot escape it. If you take that shortcut, you get to the point, you do extreme things to change things, and there will be no point of return afterwards. There's consequences. Unfortunately, for this man, we don't see the side effects yet, but eventually they're coming. I say that not to diss him, because there's people internally that are hurting. And I'm just here to challenge you to do the internal work as well. Because no matter how much of the fat you lost, the physique you built, and if I'm not speaking about things on your body, thinking that you can buy certain things to wear, expensive shoes, expensive clothing, to think that these things will automatically make you feel good internally. You are mistaken. You have to do the work internally. You cannot make that shortcut. And honestly, when you're doing the work to lose the weight, you're overcoming all these challenges to get to where you're getting. You are developing your mind in some way, shape, or form, right? But when you are deep down hurting, you haven't handled that trauma, you will resort to things that are extreme, that are shortcuts. What makes you feel the need to undergo surgery, almost $100,000? It's a deep down issue that I need to work on. Maybe you dealt with things in your childhood. It's deeper than we think. And unfortunately, a lot of people are feeling this way. Body dysmorphic issues is big in the fitness space, in the bodybuilding world, in the modeling world. There are so many things I can bring up, but it'll make the video a bit long. And I just challenge you to think for yourself, because ultimately, it's a game of comparison. What you see on social media, what people feed you, what you think the beauty standard is. And because of that, you think you need to do these extreme things, starve yourself, take drugs, take Ozempic, and for some people, high surgery. You don't need to do all this. The goal is to be at peace with yourself internally. Then everything else will be an addition. This is why I've never been the type to want to go into bodybuilding, because once you're in that world, a sport based heavily on genetics, you are at a disadvantage if you do it naturally. So that means that you're going to have to do performance enhancement to get yourself in a position to compete. That's why for me, I want to avoid that. On the flip side of that, you admire people on social media. You see what they're doing. They're telling you what you want to hear, but they don't tell you what things they do behind closed doors. And the dating world, we have people with stupid standards that don't mean anything, often are lies. And because you deal with rejection like this man over here, you think that you need to do surgery to be taller. There's people that like your height, whatever it was, 5'6", I don't know what it was, nor care. There's people in this world that like you for who you are. Why do you need to go through extremes to get that result? It begins with you internally. Because I can assure you, you need to have a good reason why to lose weight, why to achieve that physique. You need to have a good reason, because if it's because you are deep down insecure and you haven't done the work to overcome that, it will never end. It will never end to the point you will resort to unnatural means to get this thing that you're after because of comparison. That's the dangers of social media. It should be a place to acquire information, to be inspired, to take action yourself, not to be like another person, not to abide by people's standards. Because when does it end? Social media is trendy, which means that the standards today will change tomorrow. So what? You keep flip flopping between what people expect from you, or will you be true to yourself? Will you become more self aware? Be confident in your own shoes. Not to say that you don't do the work to be the best version of yourself, but do things within your control. That is the game. Because in this time, mental health wise, people are struggling. People are struggling because of social media. In my estimation, social media is making people think they need to do extreme things to be taller, to be in better shape, or whatever the case may be. This is not just a body and mind thing. This also is on the profession side, on dating standards, whatever the case may be. It's so broad, but it all stems down from you as an individual. How do you feel about yourself internally? That work needs to be done. We all dealt with trauma. It's your responsibility. It's not fair that you dealt with it, but it's your responsibility. And I would just hate for someone to resort to this, because there will be consequences. There will be. There will be. You can't take shortcuts. Losing the weight, getting the physique, you can't take shortcuts. You still need to do the internal work. And the good news about not taking shortcuts in terms of doing the workouts, eating properly, sleeping, and all that, along the way, you're building character, right? So when I say don't skip the internal work, when you do it the right way, you're also working on yourself internally. But when you take shortcuts, as in performance enhancement drugs, surgeries, any kind of unnatural means to get the result faster, that's when you're not doing the internal work. That's what I mean. So I hope I gave you a bit of perspective with this video. I was kind of rambling a little bit, but my whole point is you cannot take shortcuts. You need to do the internal work, which means that when you set a goal, when you know what is required, you do it the right way, because you develop both your mind and your body simultaneously. But if you just skip to unnatural means to get the result faster, the consequences will hit you harder than a ton of bricks. Anyways, let me know your thoughts about this. What would you tell your friend if they were the person about to do this? An $80,000 surgery to be taller. Your body, your choice, but there needs to be other ways to develop your inner confidence. There needs to be another way, because not everybody is 6 foot tall or 7 feet or whatever the height is. You should be confident in your own shoes. And if you're not, you should do the work to get to that point. The work that isn't a shortcut. I digress.